What's up, everybody? It's me. I'm here, and it's the weekend, so I'm gonna make a couple of videos over the next couple days at least, because this is the first time in a while I've had the uninterrupted opportunity to do so. This video is going to be audio commentary talking about another game that comes out next generation that I am very excited for. But before I did, I wanted to show you guys something cool. Yesterday I was hanging out at the plane trade and they finally got a shipment in that I had been waiting for. So when I left that evening, I picked up a game, or rather a collection. This just came out. I'm sure you guys are familiar with its existence. This is Metal Gear Solid, the Legacy Collection on PlayStation 3. And it only costs $50, not 60, or at least it did for me. So you're going to save yourself $10 if you decide to go pick it up compared to the price of a normal new release. And what it is a collection of games, most of which I already own, but I wanted to get this anyway just to support Konami, support Hideo Kojima as he goes forward into this franchise, and I wanted to get some of the extras that I don't have. So what this is a collection of games and materials from the Metal Gear franchise. On the back here, it lists all this stuff, so I'm just going to go through it real quick. Metal Gear 1 and 2 NES games. I played the first one. It's not very good, but humble beginnings, as they say. Metal Gear Solid 1, which is available via a download code through PSN that you can get for free, basically, on your PS3. Metal Gear Solid VR missions, which I believe is the same deal. Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm not sure if it's Substance or Sons of Liberty. We'll see. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which again might include the Substance material. I'm not sure. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which is exciting for me because I have never played Peace Walker and I want to. And then you have two graphic novels called a Metal Gear Solid Bande Dessinée and Metal Gear Solid 2 Bande Dessinée. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but whatever. So that's all the material they have in here. They also have some bonus videos, bonus content on the disc. Like there's, I think, like I said, there's graphic novels on in here. There's artwork, and of course there is a 100-page long art book that I haven't looked at yet. But if you look, you'll see the game case, and then you'll see this white thing on the bottom is actually the art book. So I'm going to open this probably next week, and I may open it on camera just to show you guys what the art book looks like. And for any Metal Gear enthusiast, even if you own most of the games in this collection like I do, I own Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4. I still think this might be worth getting just to, have everything on one disc. So, that is my recent purchase. This is a big one for me. I'm a huge, huge fan of this franchise, and this was one more opportunity to enjoy it. And yeah, with that, I'm going to go into the audio commentary.
So, as I'm sure many of you have already figured out, since I was talking about a Metal Gear Solid collection in the opening of this video, I'm going to be taking the rest of this video to talk about the next installment in the Metal Gear franchise. And that, of course, is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which is being released at about the same time as a game called Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. And basically, these are two different games that have more or less been fused together into one whole work that will constitute the installment into the Metal Gear Legacy. So I don't know if they're going to be released as two separate games. I don't know if they're going to be released together. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but that's what we're going to be getting probably sometime next year. So I just had the opportunity to watch the extended Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain trailer. You can find it on YouTube. It's 9 minutes long. You get gameplay, you get limited story, you get quite a few very interesting things. So, what did I think, and what do I think about the direction this franchise is taking? Well, first of all, I am a giant Metal Gear fan, and I've been a giant Metal Gear fan for about I would say a decade, probably more, maybe 11 years. Ever since I first played the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo that I got with my Zone of the Enders game. And since then, I beat Metal Gear Solid 2, went back, played Metal Gear Solid in, I think, 2003, and then, of course, when Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4 came out, I went through those. And all four of those games are among my 10 favorite games ever. I love them all because they all bring something new to the table in the Metal Gear franchise while staying true to that tactical espionage action route. And as such, I consider Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, to be one of my most anticipated games for the next generation. In fact, I would probably put it second only to Grand Theft Auto 5. It may even be as anticipated as 5. It's tough to put qualifiers on things like this. So, basically, I've done a little bit of research on this game on top of looking into the trailer, of course, and here's what I know. The Phantom Pain / Ground Zeroes is going to fill in the gap between Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which I have not played, and Metal Gear, which I have played a little of and thought it wasn't very good. But basically, there's a 20-year period that takes place between Peace Walker and Metal Gear. Peace Walker took place in the mid-70s. Metal Gear takes place in the mid-90s. So the Phantom Pain is going to fill in that gap of time, as is Ground Zeroes. Basically, my understanding is that part of this Metal Gear Solid 5 experience will take place in 1975, right after Peace Walker, and the other part will take place in 84. So basically right in the middle of Peace Walker and Metal Gear. Now, that is definitely very interesting to me because that 20-year period is definitely the biggest hole that we have in the Metal Gear franchise. We have some idea of what happened in that 20 years, but we don't know everything. In fact, I would say that it's probably the biggest unanswered question in the franchise right now, outside of the stuff we're going to see when the franchise releases definite sequels that take place in the 2020s. So, the thing is that it looks like we're going to be playing this game as, well, basically Big Boss, although he'll probably be under a different name. We don't know. It looks like he's actually going to be under the name of Punished Snake, which, kind of fruity, but fine. It's always been the habit of this series to use over-the-top and corny names. We're going to see, based on the trailer, some characters that we're familiar with from previous titles. Ocelot is definitely going to be in this game. I mean, obviously, with Ocelot being the popular character that he is, I think we all knew that they weren't going to pass up the opportunity to use that character. And, we're also getting the return of Kaz, who I believe was in Peace Walker. Again, haven't played Peace Walker yet. We're getting Emmerich. We're getting Miller. We're getting Chico. All characters from Peace Walker, apparently. And, yeah, I have to say that even though it seems like we know very little about the storyline of this game, all this stuff sounds very good to me. What we do know about the plot and story and setting of this game is it's going to involve basically some sort of plot regarding Big Boss / Snake trying to get together a private military, not a corporation, but basically just a private military group to try to uncover the truth behind the MSF destruction, which, again, a Peace Walker event that I still need to experience firsthand. And there's going to be some sort of plot revolving around a weapon that's trying to surpass even the Metal Gear system from, well, I guess it would be the Shagohod from Snake Eater, but it could even have a loftier goal than that. And that's basically what we know about this plot. The trailer showed a lot of torture scenes. It showed a lot of scenes from what seemed to be some kind of prologue of the game. That is the first couple hours of the game. And in terms of plot, it seems like that's what we know. So now let's talk about the gameplay that was shown in this trailer. And this was something that I was really concerned about, but after watching this trailer, I don't really have any fears. The Metal Gear franchise has always been a franchise of linearity. You get plopped down in point A, you try to go to point B, and admittedly, while you can choose whether or not you want to do this via stealth or action, that journey from point A to point B tends to be very linear. This was even true in Metal Gear Solid 4, which was the most recent Metal Gear Solid release, and over the past week I've finally had the opportunity to play Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and it's certainly true there. But this game is going for an open world Metal Gear Solid experience. When I heard that, I was a little concerned, because I love open world games. Grand Theft Auto, Fallout, Sleeping Dogs, Red Dead Redemption, all that stuff. I love all of that. Open world kicks ass. But in a game like Metal Gear Solid, that is supposed to have a very focused and intricate plot, I don't know if open world best suits that. I don't know if you want the ability for a character to just wander around doing whatever for 3 hours at a time in a game that's supposed to have a very focused and structured plot line. So that concerned me just a little bit. I think the Metal Gear Solid franchise works best when it's on rails, so to speak. But then I saw this trailer, and what I liked about the open world is that it still seems to be focused, but the open world aspect seems to come from giving the player more choices on how to do something rather than allowing them to wander around doing fuck all for hours at a time. You can ride a horse, you can ride a car, you can ride a tank, you can, there are many different routes you can take in terms of trying to get to a goal. The And really, it's more of a feeling of the game being an open world game rather than the experience of an open world game, so it seems to me. It's not like we're going to drop Snake into a city and he can go wherever he wants, like in a Grand Theft Auto game. It's going to be more like just giving the player more options on how to do things. So, watching this trailer, they definitely kept the stealth. They definitely kept the tactical espionage action elements of the franchise. I mean, there was a part in the trailer where he's sneaking through a camp filled with enemies, and it's totally 100% Metal Gear Solid gameplay. 100% Metal Gear Solid. Totally. And that is what I wanted to see, because I thought Revengeance was a great game, but I didn't think it was on the par of other Metal Gear Solid games, but I thought that was okay, because it was basically a Gaiden game. It was a spin-off, and I have no problem with spin-offs. But when we get back to the Metal Gear Solid franchise, I want to play a Metal Gear Solid game. So it looks like that's definitely what we're going to get. And watching this trailer, looking at this promotional material, I can't wait for this game. At this point, the only semi sort of problem I could have with this is simply prequels can be very interesting, but since you know what's going to happen by the end, or you know where this is all headed because it's a prequel, it can be less powerful. When you're talking about direct sequels that have no prequel element to them, you don't know what's going to happen at the end necessarily. It could be anything. So, while I think the plot of this game will be very interesting, it does put a tiny damper on things because I know where we're going to end up. And beyond that, the game looks like they added some CQC elements, which is going to be fun because the Metal Gear franchise is one that has come a long way when it comes to how they handled close quarters combat. Probably looks like they've added, vehicle controls. They've added some additional weapon stuff. Generic improvements you would expect when a franchise continues to evolve. Beyond that, I hope this game makes a huge addition to the Metal Gear Solid plot storyline, because Revengeance had a good storyline, but it didn't add a ton of material to the plot of the entire franchise. So to me, that's fine, but I do want to see this title add a lot to the Metal Gear legacy. So, I'm very excited for this game. I think it's going to become one of my favorite games ever when I play it, but the only way to determine that one way or the other is to actually play it. And what I've seen so far, I'm optimistic about. Next up, next time I talk about an anticipated video game of the next generation, it will be Fallout 4. So, see you then.